Yo, yo, yo.
Uh,
Welcome back to the show. Another episode of the podcast on Twitch with my guy, Zulu at the bottom, my main man, Lil Dare, to my left or right from you. He's on my left, so he's probably on your right. Um, what's this? Episode, what, 12? 11?
yeah, not 12. I think it's 12, 11, one of them.
Follow us on YouTube, all social media platforms, Twitter, Final Possession, TikTok coming soon. It's probably gonna be Final Possession as well. But we'll let y'all know. Darius, Zoo, y'all kick us off. Y'all got anything y'all want to get off y'all chests?
Um, First, I'd like to start to send my condolences out to those people who were affected in the University of Virginia tragedy where those three football players were killed. Hope and send love and condolences to the families and friends that were affected by that tragedy. Just hate to see young guys gone so soon, especially with something so senseless.
Thanks.
Um, so I know it's tough to pivot from a heavy topic, but to get started, can we just now acknowledge what I've been saying like the whole entire season? That Buffalo is exactly who I said they were. Right. So they lost two in a row. They hadn't scored a second half touchdown in 3 weeks. That is not top 10 behavior. That is not Super Bowl favorite behavior. However, right, so the media is going to give the team that beat them more credit than discredit the Buffalo Bills. Now, just like any other team, they got injuries, just like any other team. I figured I don't hear these injuries when they spanking people. I shouldn't hear these injuries when they're losing. Right? Josh Allen played. There's no excuse. I understand he had the elbow, but he played. If he was hurt, he shouldn't have played. So this now, first of all, let me back up. Hats off to the Minnesota Vikings. They played an excellent game. They was down 27-17 at one point, and they never gave up. They saw that game into the end, and it prevailed for them. On the other side of that, Buffalo didn't score a second half touchdown. As great as they want Josh Allen to be, as great as they want Buffalo Bills to be, they are not that. They are not that at all. I've been preaching that ever since Zuno. I've been preaching that ever since the draft, right? So this team is not who people want them to be. So at what point, I ask y'all, at what point do we get off that bandwagon and saying Buffalo Bills is the team to be? Because right now, there's two top teams in the AFC, and Kansas City is not one of them. It's the Baltimore Ravens and it's the Miami Dolphins. Those are the two top two teams in the AFC right now.
You wouldn't say Kansas City?
No,
No,
can't
of
say
course he,
that.
I forgot.
of course he's not. Yeah, I
I
mean,
forgot.
It's Patrick. I see what y'all trying to do. Patrick
Uh,
Mahomes, but bro, Kansas City, they got an L coming their way. I ain't gonna say when. It might be Sunday night. I don't know, but they got an L coming their way.
I mean, to your question, I think this these losses has brought Buffalo back to reality, or for at least it should have brought them back to reality for the media, right? No one's gonna discredit and act like they're still not a juggernaut because at their best, we know what they can do, right?
What's at their
Um,
best though?
I mean,
What
you
name a
talking about
game did you?
Kansas City?
Oh, hold on, who we
to,
talking about?
to Buffalo, Buffalo.
Oh,
I'm talking
okay.
about to your original question. To your original question.
Name a game
Uh,
that was at their best though, other than Pittsburgh. I
I
mean,
mean,
Tennessee. They didn't play Pittsburgh.
Tennessee, yeah, Tennessee. What was who they play?
I feel like they
I think
played the Chiefs very well.
Chiefs well.
Yeah,
Um,
you're right. You're
I
right.
mean, I'm saying like not necessarily a particular game where it's like this is the Buffalo Bills we expect because I mean again it's any given Sunday. We know that from jump.
The Buffalo Bills I expect I've seen the past 2 weeks.
Understood. Respectfully understood. But like I mean at what we know is their best at this current time. Like I don't. Again, I'm with you. The injuries happen for everybody, so I can care if Tre'Davious White played or not. That won't change. It doesn't dramatically change the way that they lost their game. So I think just you can expect them to be contenders and so to an extent. like everybody else. Not necessarily, hey, it's them, and everybody's like 10 miles behind them anymore. No, like now the reality is set that they are just like everybody else. They can be really good, but they can lose to anybody. Respectfully. So,
I mean, I mean, like y'all both said, well, yeah, it's just any given Sunday. Just like the Chargers, Titans, Broncos, well, any team in the league, except the fucking Saints. But
we'll get there.
it's just any given Sunday, and they just ran into a hotter team. I wouldn't say they were better because they was handling their business in the first half, but they weren't consistent throughout the whole game, and consistency lost them the game. Yeah. Inconsistency is it?
Well, I mean, it's about if you make the plays or not, right? So like, no matter how good you look on paper, how good you are for 3 quarters, if you don't keep making the plays all 4 quarters of the game, that's what can happen to you, right? Like, again, we've seen it ever since we've been growing up watching football.
Well, if you want to put any of the, me personally, I know Josh Allen's on my fantasy team, but if you want to put any blame on it, it's on Josh Allen. You got a fumble snap, give him the ball back on the 1. You got 2 picks in the red zone.
Mm-hmm. You got 3 turnovers in the red zone. Fumble 1 time.
He fumbled in the red zone too? Mm-hmm. They got that back or they lost that one?
They lost that one.
So, I mean, you think about it, even if they don't score touchdowns, they kick field goals, that's 9 extra points. Are we really talking about the same outcome of the game? Even if they missed 2 of them.
Right.
I mean,
the last pick, he didn't have to throw. He didn't have to throw that out.
He wasn't even being over.
Yeah. Like,
so
if he really wanted to throw that ball, he could have waited half a second and let Diggs keep running.
And that's even the compound what he did versus the Jets. He did similar things versus the Jets. Turnover was late, right?
Yeah.
We was harping on Lamar Jackson, the Baltimore Ravens, for turning over the ball late.
The same thing.
Josh Allen doing the same exact thing for the Buffalo Bills.
So, I mean, that's not out the question of rim. Like, Josh Allen is definitely losing himself his own MVP race, I believe, in terms of what everybody else is saying. I will say Jalen Hurts is still the MVP favorite right now. Maybe not. Tua's coming back on the scene. But, I don't
know how I feel about that, though, bro. Like, I get it. I mean, I know it's because he's not the hot hand, right? To your point, not to go off too far, talking about your Tua's at the high end.
Tua out here surgically repairing teams, fam.
I'm just saying in general. I'm just saying it to this point. I'm not saying like nothing's wrong about what you're saying. Tua going up to be someone's favorite, right? Because right now they say it's Patrick Mahomes. Whatever is right. Grant,
I understand because
there are numbers. There's numbers to support it.
Well, the Chiefs lost 1 game.
Yeah, but again, the Eagles just lost a game, and it wasn't because of Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts did nothing to give that game away. He gave the dot to AJ Brown. He threw it back up and got it picked. Quez Watkins.
Well, what that dot? If you talking about the one downfield, that's not an ideal throw. He did anticipate the throw though.
It wasn't. It's not like the throw you say, "Oh, that's the one I would have told you to throw," but it was a dot. It went straight into his hand.
Oh yeah. That's definitely a drop on AJ Brown.
So I'm just saying in terms of the whole MVP thing. I know it's because they want to see him have a crazy win where I guess the Eagles need to be down by 14 and he drive them back to a comeback win or something for him to be over the top. But Jalen Hurts is playing excellent football, and so I don't think just because there's a hot hand out there, I don't think he should be discredited. His MVP status, I guess. You know what I'm saying? Me personally, I know why you put a 2 in there because 2 was hot. 2. I mean, he was gone 3 games. You see what happened when he's gone. You see what happened when he's back. And then Patrick Mahomes' numbers support him to be statistically.
Well, I'm pretty sure this is why they're giving it to Patrick Mahomes, bro. He probably won't have a 1,000-yard receiver on this team this year, and they more than likely probably will end the season with maybe about 4 losses. So, and the Eagles, we don't know how. I think teams figured them out, and it's very unfortunate because they got to go to Dallas and they got to play the Giants twice.
I definitely think people know they can run the ball versus Philly now.
Yeah, but I mean, that wasn't nothing new. It's not like that's a newfound formula. Like,
yeah,
Detroit was running on them. No, Detroit ran for like 200 on them.
Fam, that's week 1.
Hey, if it's on tape, it's on tape, bro.
I mean, but those things can be fixed from week 1 to week 10.
Right. And same as last week. All right, bro, we really got to address this now. Granted, they are missing Jordan Davis, who's a space eater. They can still fix the same thing. I'm not saying it's not on tape.
Handling by Joseph, so maybe he'll.
Yeah, and then also it's a divisional game. Them games can go either way anyway. That's how it is. So I'm just saying, not saying that's not right, because I mean, I see it on tape. I'm gonna run the ball too, and if they're in their zone, I'm attacking that zone the same way. But I mean, I just don't. I don't like how it flips so hard. Like, I guarantee if this was, again, like to your point, Darius, has always been, if this was Patrick Mahomes with these type of stats and they undefeated or have one loss, or it's Josh Allen, we wouldn't have a conversation. They wouldn't have moved the totem pole for them at all. That's all I'm saying.
I don't disagree there.
Allen lost to the Jets. He was still leading the race.
I believe majority of that was because they felt like Josh Allen technically did not lose them the game, but he did not win them the game. And this past week, Josh Allen lost them that game.
Right, but to your point, Jalen Hurts didn't lose them that game.
That's a true statement. I didn't disagree with that. So I'm not gonna argue that point with Jalen Hurts.
That's only beef with the MVP rating. That's all.
But at the same time, they were saying the same thing about Jalen Hurts. I ain't gonna say they, but they basically saying he drops balls down. They just find a way to consistently move the sticks. It ain't never him making the Aaron Rodgers or Josh Allen huge play. So it doesn't look flashy for them to be like, well, he the MVP, but his numbers speak value. But at the same time, Tua numbers are speaking shit.
Tua numbers going crazy.
Tua out here. And you got to think about it, Tua ain't out here got the mobility of doing what they doing mobile-wise.
And he missed 3 games.
Yeah, and he missed 3 games.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's what
I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I don't be upset about a Tua situation. Tua has something on tape that's like, dang, you see, it's a dramatic drop off. He missed some games. He come back, and he throwing 3 tubs, 300 the next 3 weeks or whatever. So Tua, I can get it. And Tua had the baggage of, oh man, he's the weakest link on the team. The story fits him. I feel like the same way they talked about him and Jalen Hurts had kind of that same, if they do right, the team can be XYZ or whatever. But anyway.
I mean,
just one of the two can win this fine.
Just piggybacking off of that, do y'all feel like teams have found the blueprint for the Eagles?
I mean, we'll see. Every team got a weak link somewhere. Like, I don't care how good you are. There's something a team can use against you.
I definitely think you can highlight the last 2 games where teams have been trying to run the ball versus throwing the ball. And I think the more of the approach has been control the clock versus the Eagles. They control the clock. As long as you keeping the Philadelphia Eagles offense on the sideline, you probably got a supreme chance of beating it.
Yeah. It's more about just ball control, right? And then that's just football 1-on-1. If you win the game of time possession, then you can win your game because you're keeping them close. Their offense is known for starting to get fast. Their defense plays better when they get early off fast. Because if you make their defense play defense for a full 60 minutes, you look a little different. They see in that zone don't just sit the same. Them plays that you used to seeing them make don't happen. Like, I mean, unless it's a jump ball, you get a pick from CJ. But like I expect the safety to make that play if the ball's in the air that long and he got that much room to come and check it down. So it is what it is. I don't think it's any crazy like formula to beat them. It's just time possession. Let's get physical with them and then let's take our spots.
See, that's why I said they might be in trouble at the end of the year because the Giants, they really ain't no explosive offense for real. They more time of possession, keep the ball away from the other team. Dallas is a hit or miss. I don't know what the fuck you got at Dallas week to week, really. But, and they got the Giants twice. And that's the division right there, them 2 teams. That's for the division, in my opinion. Yeah, anything? You agree with that, Darius?
Yeah, for the most part.
Only because Dallas is trending down in my...
Right. I mean, but it's also that time of the year, bro. Like, what we seen the first, again, we always know that first, quote-unquote, 3, technically 3, but 2 months of the football season is just figuring it out. Teams look great, some teams look bad, and things can turn. When you get to that December, in November, December start coming around, real football starts. The game starts because they start settling for the playoff hunt. teams know exactly what they have. All the moves have been made, and so now you're like, okay, this is what we are. This is what we can be, and now we know what we're dealing with for the rest of the season. And so teams aren't going to just be overwhelmed by a team that might have been blowing people out by 40 the first 2 weeks of the season.
So, who the top dog in both divisions? Philly still a top dog in NFC?
Yeah, I think Philly's still the top dog, and I got Baltimore as the top dog.
Yeah, I got I would say Baltimore, KC. I can't add the flip a coin on it, to be honest. I think it is impressive.
Baltimore.
Tua.
You said Baltimore and who?
Okay, see. I'm gonna give him credit for adjusting and making it work. I think Baltimore is probably hotter.
I think the
get people back.
I think the AFC is more of like 4 teams.
On me, because Miami is just as hot, I think, as everybody else too. And so I would say if their defense gets back, if they get anybody back on defense that starts on the back end, that's helpful for them. Like Baltimore, they're getting some more front 7 guys back and some guys on the back end back. And so they're hot. Who knows how they finish the season? I think KC just kind of has established kind of where they're going to be at for now. And the Eagles, between Eagles and Minnesota, but I'm going to say the Eagles for now because they beat Minnesota. So it is.
I got 2 in the NFC too. I got the 49ers kind of trending up. Even though Darius didn't like that loss this past week, but
they decent.
I think the 49ers is one of, if not the most overrated team in the NFL.
Hey, you been using overrated for like
the last 7 weeks, fam.
They 5-4.
Yeah.
And they beat a banged up Los Angeles Chargers team.
A dub is a dub.
A dub.
Who in fact like 2 more players.
During the game, you're right.
Man, catch you and the Saints with the most hurt players at this point.
Yeah, it's contest who got the longest injury report. Sheesh.
But see, the thing is, they were anticipating that they was gonna blow us out. It was gonna be a real damage and loss and all this crazy. But we actually had a chance.
Yeah, did.
Yeah.
We actually should have won.
I believe
instead, we had a roster full of practice squad players going against a roster who was probably 93% healthy.
You know, this is
again to your point.
This
one, I would say this. I think if Justin Herbert didn't fall or get the ball hit on that last throw, he might have had him a dot for a tub, no cap. But then also to that point, hey, we all crying. We all in the same boat, full of people's tears, crying rivers about the injury bug.
This is
games after games.
This is leaning towards like an Anthony Lynn team, to be 100% honest. And this is what he was working with for like 3 fucking years, basically. So
it's real sad.
That is very sad.
But I mean, I ain't the one to make excuses for injuries. Supposedly we got 2 of the guys coming back, 2 of the big dogs, and Mike Will and Keenan Allen. They supposed to be making their debut. Well, Keenan Allen's supposed to be coming back since week 1. He done missed 2 months. Mike Will's ankle sprain. So I'm excited to see that. Right? So you and Gerald, I feel like Gerald Everett. and Gerald Everett is coming back. He missed all of the second half of the San Francisco game. So you give him like 2 of his top targets back. Well, 2 of the top targets back. And we're going to see, I think the offense is going to be a lot different. Then Trey Pickens back too. So they got some guys coming back from injury. We're kind of excited. I can break.
I'm a little worried for Keenan Allen at this stage because that hamstring is just it's the worst injury to have in fucking football as a wide receiver.
We're going to stay positive.
Yeah.
All you can do.
He got a lot of twitch motions that the hamstring sometimes just don't agree with.
I mean, the good thing is, at least he don't, like, when he does moves, he don't do too much stuttering. He'll give you a hop skip. He get to it a little bit.
I mean, but
you ain't got to worry about him overworking it too much. But.
Well, he overworks it all day. I mean, most of the routes I've seen Keenan run are like in routes and over routes. His most successful routes. I ain't watched too many footballs from him. but I'm pretty sure I watched at least a game and enough games to notice those two routes are the most consistent routes he gonna run. And sometimes it comes out of that over, your foot turning a little bit and all that, and you can just feel it.
Hey, man.
Just ask fucking Michael Thomas about that weak ass toe he got.
Michael.
Damn, bro. What's up with you?
Speaking of Michael Thomas.
Upset.
Yeah, bro. I'm upset the whole team, fam.
I believe it.
10 points versus Pittsburgh.
Fam. Hey, G, at this point, I really just, only thing I don't understand is, I don't care who you got back there throwing the ball to whoever, right? Who knows? It doesn't matter. 41 needs to touch the ball 20 plus times a game.
That's not healthy.
It ain't healthy, but it's necessary.
Let me not say that. Look.
I'm just saying, it's proven. He touches it 20 plus, whether it's in handoffs or catches. That's a dub.
It's
9 times out of 10.
Okay, 7 times out of 10.
I'm telling you 9. I looked it up. It's 9 times out of 10.
All right, 6. You keep making the numbers worse.
I'm just telling you.
So, all right, but look, it ain't that he does need to touch it more, but it's just the QBs we got ain't got no field awareness, and they want to throw all these routes past the sticks, which comes back to the offensive coordinator for telling him to look past the sticks every fucking time instead of just dropping it down to AK and get you 4 yards and being a 2nd and fucking 6. Instead, you in a 2nd and 10, and we're gonna throw the ball again, and he ain't gonna drop it down again. Or if he does, we in the 2nd and 6. 3rd and 6 then. So now we gotta run some routes past the sticks. It's just, I watched Andy Dalton numerous of times against the Pittsburgh Steelers. AK has had his hand open every fucking time for a check down, and that ball was never thrown to him, probably except once.
I put it like this, bro. It's a series of misfortunate events.
No, it's just QB play. At this point, it's QB play and offensive coordinator play.
That doesn't help it, but I'm just talking about overall for the state of the franchise, right? So, like, the QB play being lackluster doesn't help. Now, granted, I think even from the jump, going in with the idea this guy's going to play, he gets hurt right before the preseason starts, so he don't play a whole preseason. He come in week 1, breaks his back, makes it worse. And then, does he play, does he not? He said, I feel good enough, I'm going to go out there. And then at the same time, it's like, no, we can't put you out there because it can't get no worse, but you're not going to feel any better. And then we already got a trouble history with the medical staff with a couple players. Like, it's before Mike Thomas' ankle jump. It goes all the way back to Delvin Breaux and some more, right? And so you got those things going on. We have the revolving door up front and the offensive line already. Then you lose Mike Thomas officially for the season. Jarvis Landry had hurt. He played 2 games. Played 2 games, I think. 3. 2.5 games. He played like a couple snags against Minnesota. Marshawn goes down. The expected starting secondary ain't played a game together yet.
Look,
literally.
I hear everything you saying.
And so, hold on, let me finish. And then, so you got a coach trying to deal with all that. He's just going off what he's hearing. He's saying yes or no. We got Pete back there.
Fucking terrible.
I don't know what he got going on at this point.
Darius, y'all trying to trade offensive coordinators?
Yeah, give us Joe back. And then, so it's just all that encapsulates what the season is like. And so you got players that dig the guy who's the head coach, though the results aren't good. So it's like, we like the guy, but in this spot, it ain't looking too good. And so he's probably going to be gone in the end of the year. It's possible. It's not guaranteed, but it's possible. So the guy who especially the defensive side of the ball likes, he's a player's guy, going to be out just because the season's terrible, especially with the way it's trending, right? And so who knows who you can bring in anyway next year.
Well,
it's going to happen and change.
If he can fix, the one thing he need to do is fire his offensive coordinator. Experiment over. Go find somebody you want now. I'm pretty sure he didn't want Pete. He just kept Pete in sake of the QB Jameis Winston he had because of last year. But now it's time to go get your own offensive coordinator if he's not fired. Second of all, Dennis Allen calls the plays on defense. It's starting to hit because he has to worry more about what's going on the offense. So he's not able to focus into minor details. The Saints are not even filling run gaps properly. Like, I didn't watch. The Steelers had no 20-yard plus rushes all season. They come play the Saints, they got 4 of them. Like, that's just inexcusable from a defensive head coach. But at the same time, it's his offense fault. They can't find a way to not have the defense on the field literally actual time 30 seconds to a minute. Not football time, actual time. Because they roll that quick. First down, incomplete. Second down, they going to run with AK. He get 2 yards. Third down, they going to throw it incomplete. They punting. Saints get them off the field. Minor drive. They do the same thing. I mean, at some point in time, Steelers had 20. Saints scored 10 points. And they had, 3 in the first half? 10 in the first, like.
You go to halftime, 10-10. The chance to put some points on the board before the half. And then come out, get the ball back.
Fire everybody. Dennis need to fire himself.
third downs, man.
Like, they was horrible. They was like 2 for, I would say like 4 for like at least 15.
Yeah, man.
And they ain't gonna cut it. And that's not them. It ain't them shortening the field to get easy third downs. Like, make these third downs third, 1, 2, 3. Not no 6, 7. And like these professionals, motherfucker. Like,
hey, sometimes it's about what does it say? Sometimes it's the Joe, sometimes it's the X and O's. Like, again, if what you scheming up ain't working, get your best players of football. Some way, somehow, you gotta find a way, right? It's the only way you can get something to generate some offense. If you use AK to, let him and Taysom get the ball a couple times to give a look, so then now you can open up and try some of the stuff that you want to try down the line, by all means. But give the best people the football, bro.
At this point, if you want to be 100% honest, they might as well put Taysom Hill at quarterback.
They might.
Like, what are we, like, at this point,
still getting paid?
That Taysom Hill package, just make everything Taysom Hill package.
You getting paid for it, might as well try it.
But look.
I mean, that's it. We in a little spiral, man. We'll see how the season ends.
And they gave up all their draft picks. And fucking CJ. What the fuck? Anyway, look. Jeff Saturday win.
Not surprising.
They did play the Raiders, huh?
Hey, can I before you go, can I just let this can I get this piece off? Can I get this piece off? Hey, I apologize to everybody for I gassed the Raiders up, man. I had high hopes for the team. I thought kick them out? I thought Chandler Jones was gonna add something to the pot. Chandler Jones still got half a sack. I don't know how you do that. And how many games they done played at this point? 10.
10.
My gosh. Devontae's doing what he's supposed to do, so I can't fault him. I just don't understand, bro. Like, they have injuries too. By all means, cool. But bro, there's just no way you blow. They melt in the fourth quarter every game. All their losses have been them going. Majority of their losses have been they've been having the lead going in the fourth quarter. They melt every time, and it's sickening, bro. It's sickening. So, man, look, hey, shout out Parks Frazier, man, home team, Murray State alum. That's a dub. That's my guy. Shout him out. Jeff Saturday. Hey, everybody was talking that cash on FS1, ESPN.
But.
Hold your cigarette. I mean, we know I don't think it's gonna last long.
They finna get dragged this upcoming week, but yeah.
That really doesn't validate the hiring because they beat the Raiders, right?
Absolutely, the hiring is still disrespectful, still disgusting, still very disrespectful. So we not gonna endorse that craziness. But for the moment,
ain't he like the owner, like half owner or something like that of the Colts?
I don't know how that works. I know he was a consultant or from like that, whatever, team consultant of some sort. But anyway, yeah, the hire was trash. We'll that's always gonna be the case, I think. And then, but again, only person I really can root for is Parks. Shout out to Parks, man, orchestrating the dub.
Ladare?
Go ahead, Darius.
First, congratulations to Jeff Saturday on his first win. as the head coach. Secondly, they beat the Raiders. Right. So I will
They
argue,
lottery right now.
I would argue that I would have got my first win versus the Raiders.
Oh my God, he's so disrespectful, bro.
The Raiders are probably arguably the worst franchise
In the last decade.
They're arguably the worst team this year.
No, I can't give him a pass over Houston, but
Well, I was just about to say, Houston, I think, is more
young. I think they're young.
That's what I get. When you talk about Houston roster and you talk about the Raiders roster, right? Mm-hmm. Houston got way more. Okay, we're not expecting them to win so many games. Nobody expected the Raiders to be in the top 5 in the 2023 NFL draft. And it looks like that's the direction they're heading in. And they got playmakers. And here, I tell y'all every week, you don't get no sympathy with me with injuries, right? You still got to play. They had a 17-point lead versus Jacksonville.
Blew it.
They blew it. They had a 10-point lead versus the Colts.
Blew it.
All of these games, they had a game-winning drive set up versus the Kansas City. They blew that away, right? So all of these opportunities they had, all of these games they lost, it came down to the guy on the headset, right? So Davis, the owner for the Raiders, has backed Josh McDaniels saying he was the guy. I see that a completely different way, right?
I mean, it could be two things.
Excuse me. Mm-hmm. What two things would it be?
It could be Derek Carr as well.
You preach to the choir.
Hey, leave my boy Derek out of it,
fam.
You preaching to the choir.
At this point, I just feel like it's been it's been the same thing every year with the Chargers, the Raiders.
Them two.
No, the Chargers, they deal with like some major type shit. The Raiders literally be having like last year. I mean, a lot besides Darren Waller, who don't play every year. The Raiders, Derek Carr has been majority of the reason why they be losing some of these games. To be 100% honest, just to be 100% honest, I mean the quarterback gonna get all the blame, but like, what have you say this year that you was like, well, Derek Carr just played a great game from start to finish?
I definitely don't. Derek Carr, I don't think he lives. All right, so the Saints game to be a perfect example of what I mean by Derek Carr. You can blame whatever you want on the coach, but you cannot cross the 50. And you got Josh Jacobs and Devontae Adams. You don't cross the 50 until the fourth quarter with 2 minutes left. That is 90% on the guy who's taking the snaps. Right? I don't care. Even bad plays will get you across the 50. Right? Bad plays will get you. The terrible play calling will get you across the 50. This guy was either not making the throw or scared to make the throw. Either way it go. And they're going to be, which if you're optimistic and you're looking as a Raider fan, what's the good things coming out of this? They're going to be in prime position to take one of the 3-headed monsters coming out of the draft this year. Now, would Devontae Adams be happy about that? I don't think so, because the whole point of him going to Las Vegas, quote unquote, was to play with Derek Carr. But I think as ownership and as the GM, you got to start thinking like, we done gave Derek Carr all the time. He dealing with the injuries of Darren Waller and Hunter Renfrow, but still, even prior to, right? They played versus Arizona where they had a double-digit lead and they lost. They played in this Saints game where they didn't cross the 50. They played in the Kansas City game where we could have went and at least took the lead with a couple seconds left to win the game. So the injuries didn't start happening to now, well, to last week. So now you're looking at it, all right, is there, like Josh said, is Derek Carr like my person? I mean, what else does he need? He had to show he doesn't look any different than he did prior to Devontae Adams. Like, he looks.
I mean, besides throwing Devontae Adams the ball more, but yeah. But didn't he just get paid?
Yes.
So I don't see them going to draft a quarterback this year. But it might be safe to say Darren Waller won't be there next year.
And he can. I would gladly. He can come.
There you go. See.
Because he just ain't no. First of all, he can't stay healthy, but.
Hey, I just got paid. Actually,
that's crazy.
Except for Josh Jacobs.
Yeah, he might not get paid.
That's the guy they probably should be
paying.
He should be paying. I mean, and with that, I mean, also with their situation, they can't afford to let Josh McDaniels go anyway.
Why they can't?
Because they have to pay him out and then pay whoever they bring in.
Look, fam.
They ain't got the cash. I looked it up. I was wondering why they wouldn't just move on from this.
Hey, fam, look.
The cash.
You know the deal with colleges. All I'm gonna say is, Auburn fired their coach. They had to pay him $15 million to get his ass on. I ain't out the rim to say Texas A&M gonna fire the coach, but more than likely they ain't gonna fire his ass because that $86 million is a little different than $15 million. So,
damn, they ain't gonna. That's more reason for you get a backing from an owner when you know it's not a good situation. And then you just, again, same thing with Derek Carr. You just paid him. You can't move from him because Derek Carr, I think, is in that category now, almost like with the question people used to give Kirk Cousins all the time. Can he win you a game, and will he not lose you a game? And you can't really, at this point, it looks like you can't tell. Like, dang, I don't know if you're going to win me the game or not lose me the game. Now, granted, their defense is water. They got the worst defense in the league, so that did help them. Derek Carr.
Man, shut the fuck up. All right, look, next topic, bro. Derek Carr, I don't think Derek Carr winning nobody no games.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that's the question he's put himself in. Like, dang.
I mean,
win me a game or not lose me a game. Now, granted, again,
you keep saying not lose you a game. Like,
I mean, there's only one. I mean, I saw the Chargers game. I ain't seen him just throw the game away. He just ain't made the play to win you the game.
Fool, are you not watching football from him or something?
I am. I'm just saying. I didn't see him throw the game away.
Okay.
But again, he would just think, all right, when it's not working, and then you just need that last little drive again, a la the Colts game. Dang, guess you couldn't win me the game. Type deal. That's what I'm saying. So, I don't know.
So against the Saints, he didn't throw the game away. Like, fam didn't cross half field to the fourth quarter.
I mean, the game was lost from the jump. So, yeah. But I'm saying again, it's not like he's throwing 5 picks.
Wasn't the score like 20-0?
20-40.
Yeah, it was a total wash of a game. So I'm putting it on everybody for sure. You give up 24 points and there's 0 points on the board. You don't cross the 50. Everybody's trash apparently.
Fam, we talk about the Saints defense being on the field all the time. How you know the Raiders weren't feeling the effect of the Saints defense that game?
Hey, fam, they probably were, but they've been doing it all year. The Raiders defense has been sorry since week 1. It ain't changed.
Yeah, because their offense has been sorry since week fucking 1. Like,
they've been a top 5 offense at one point in the season. That's what we're talking about. So, again, it wasn't. They always been.
What, week 3?
Yes.
Say again?
It was a top 5 scoring offense.
Scoring off. Okay. Top 5 scoring offense. You putting points on the board.
They could be like one play, though.
Hey,
3-play drives.
I don't make up how they make.
Fam, the other team can fumble, and they go score off that drive.
I don't make up how they make the metric, fam. I'm just saying that's what was on paper.
All right, don't shoot the messenger, bro.
I mean, that's what I'm telling you.
So just to switch over to college, Heisman, I'm going to say 2 names. Y'all pick out of 2. Drake May or Blake Corum.
I mean, Drake ain't going to win it, but he got numbers to get.
Is he in the race?
I don't know if
Well, it's going to be like, he's in there. But the Bryce won't win it because they lost too many games. Well, shit. They didn't do him justice to win it. But Duggan might actually win it. Don't put that past him.
Who?
Duggan. TCU quarterback.
Duggan?
Oh, Duggan.
I will say Blake Corum will win it because because he's the only quarterback, well, non-quarterback who can't predict the outcome of the game?
I think if Blake Corum plays how he's been playing all season versus Ohio State, I think he has solidified
Yeah, what's up?
Heisman trophy.
Yeah.
I like their chances versus Ohio State. I'm really not impressed with Ohio State this year. But Ohio State always finds a way to beat Michigan for some reason. But I think if Blake Corum perform as he's been performing all season, then I think he's the uncontested Heisman. Actually, I don't really like. I mean, I would like Hendon Hooker, but after that game he put up against Georgia, I don't think you can say him. And like you said, Bryce is out of it because they lost too many games, which he had nothing to do with. Well, he can't really say that before. But CJ, he's been really
Mediocre.
Yeah, it's probably Marvin Harrison more of the Heisman candidate than CJ Stroud is.
Yeah, dog.
So you talk about consistency. You talking about what you're going to get from your star player every week. And I think Blake Corum and Drake May has been those two type of players. But I doubt Drake is going to get it. For some reason, North Carolina they sit outside the top 10 with one loss. But still, I think Drake May has been playing at a very good level.
What y'all think about Caleb Williams winning it?
Won't surprise me really. I mean, if you talk about a player this, you ask me a player that's carrying their team the most outside of Bryce or within Bryce, I'd probably say Caleb Williams.
I would say, well, yeah, I would probably say Caleb would be my. I mean, he probably could be your two. I would have went Blake to Drake. So I think Drake is literally, if Drake's not on the field, North Carolina don't look nowhere near the same. It's the same for USC. So I'm thinking like two quarterbacks. It's just out there. But I also I don't know because Lincoln Riley know how to make people score points. He made look good for a season.
Hey fam.
So, he made Spencer Rattler look good for a season.
Okay.
For a season.
Spencer Rattler didn't even look good his freshman year, honestly.
I think
he was decent at best.
Spencer Rattler.
He didn't lose them games that they should have lost, like you like to say about Derek Carr. But he didn't win none of the big games, really, honestly.
He lost his job his freshman year or
sophomore
year. So for a season, he made him look. I mean, because he was talking about like he was some high.
But no, that USC team without Caleb Williams is dog shit.
Right. So I think Caleb would probably be. I mean, he should be at the ceremony by the end of the year. I don't see a reason why he wouldn't. Because even the Utah game, I mean, he did everything he was supposed to do for that game for them to win that game. The defense just didn't show up. So
they don't never fucking show up.
Like if you would look at Caleb Williams and said, we're going to base this game off Caleb Williams, and USC would have definitely walked away with the dub, which I think they still should have walked away with the dub anyway, but whatever.
Some can say.
Look,
but Blake is the only one who's been like, I mean, every week you just.
Yeah, he cold. He cold. And he got another year.
He cold.
Nah, he got another year.
This is only a sophomore?
Yeah. He go. So the state of the Pac-12 and the ACC. Who are you getting a nod to over both conference champs? Both won losses.
Personally, would give it to the Pac-12 champ over the ACC champ. Reason being, I think the Pac-12 has been way more competitive, and I think they got more of the quality wins with those 3 or 4, 5 teams in the Pac-12 than the ACC. I mean, outside of really North Carolina and maybe Florida State, there's really no team, right? There's really no team in the ACC that's really going to carry, like, oh, they beat such and such, so Clemson should be good. No, like, where you look at Oregon, they didn't roll over UCLA, even though they just lost to Washington, which which is tough. Now they knocked themselves out of the playoff contention, but just for example purposes, right? So you got teams like Washington, you got teams like Washington State, UCLA, USC, Oregon, Oregon State. All of these teams are bowl eligible already, right? So uh, when you talk about from Utah, I'm sorry, talk about from more of a competitive standpoint and an outlook on the conference on who teams are probably better. I'll probably give the Pac-12 championship that last spot, if considering if TCU and LSU don't do what they supposed
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, for I had to think about how the AC was started off because they started off, I think, hot off of what they did last year, and they started off kind of living up to their ranking for a while, but slowly but steadily, everybody just kind of picked themselves off one by one, and so the total competition of the Pac-12 compared to the ACC, um, I think they just stayed more competitive with outside of competition and within themselves, and so that would give them the edge. Whoever their champ is, the edge over the ACC champ, unless it's just I don't know, it has to be like a freak of a game where the champ it was a terrible game and they just happened to win it, right? On both sides or something like that. And the other team, so say the other conference just has a game where it's like Clemson looks like the Clemson of old or something, or USC look like they might be good enough to play with anybody, which I don't believe so.
Who?
So UNC. I'm just saying, hypothetical, if they played something like that.
Defense probably better than USC's.
Maybe, but I mean, I think they still get washed if they squeak in, but I don't believe that to be true. So I would give the edge to a Pac-12 champ due to the competition of their conference overall throughout the season, consistency.
So what do y'all think? Does the SEC get 2 teams in again this year? Did they have 2 last year? They did. They had 2 last year, probably every year except one. SEC get 2 teams in again?
So,
I find it hard not to.
I don't think. Well, yeah, it's gonna be hard not to.
Because if LSU pulls it out, wins all the way out, you got to put them in, and they're gonna put Georgia in. Especially say if it's a close, it's not a game where they just come out there and steamroll Georgia, right? Because they still gonna think Georgia better than everybody else. And then a guy like Georgia does what they're supposed to do, and they win out, win the SEC championship and all. It'll be very hard for a team to out top UT because they got. I'm just saying. Just based off how they
UT ain't trending down, but
they good.
It's just I think it's more in terms of if
the Big Ten championships got. I mean, the Big Ten game between Ohio State and Michigan's got to be like crazy for them to be like, nah, you know what? Let's do the 2 Big Ten teams instead of 2 SEC teams. I think. No,
I just think if the only hope for the Pac-12 getting the team in now is USC. Because they went out. They're going to beat the number 10 team, UCLA. They play Notre Dame the following week. Notre Dame going to be a top 15 team. And then they're going to end up probably playing Oregon again. And Oregon's going to be a top 10 team again. How do you take away 3 top 10, top 15 wins to end the season? And Tennessee hasn't played the top 10 team since Georgia, and that's the last input we had on them. That UK loss to Vandy, that UK win they had over there, they just thinking like, well, UK wasn't a good team this year. So really, outside of that, the last team that they played ranked was Alabama, and that was like it's going to be like 8 weeks ago. Just about 8 weeks ago, 7 weeks ago.
I mean, I guess it
maybe
it'll be on the committee. It'll be on the committee to get rid of that SEC bias. Then truly, I mean, I'm just saying it because we all said it for years how the SEC has a bias about itself towards the committee and just college football. And
yeah, me and Darius don't like the SEC that much.
And so, with that being said, people gonna hold on to them for whatever reason, even if it's USC comes out high, which I think hey. All means, I would love to see it shaking up that way. Give us multi-power 5 teams in there and let it rock.
Well, I feel like this would be the year they need to do that because in 2 years you can cancel all that because there's gonna be 2 SEC teams and probably 2 Big Ten teams in there every year.
Yeah, sure. It probably won't stop at that point. Well, I mean, should we probably more than that, right? Because who else going to Big Ten next year? Ain't y'all going there?
USC and UCLA is going in 2025. or 4. One at 5. It's 5.
One of those.
But outside of that, you got to think about it. The ACC is kind of trending down in the way that Clemson is the trending down in the ACC. They've been running that conference for a while, and if they ain't the top dog, then
it just opened the door for everybody else to catch up if they can.
But now you putting USC, UCLA, Michigan, Ohio State. That's 4 teams in the Big Ten. And then Penn State. That's 5 teams in the Big Ten that's in the top 15. And then
if they on pace with they are right now, because anybody.
I mean, yeah, anybody can fall, and that's the same thing with the SEC. Well, I lied. That ain't the same shit with the SEC. They literally be having like 3 fucking teams in there, and the 3 teams be partially blowing people out.
Yeah, they ain't gonna change, man. So I mean, it just depends. It depends, brother. The committee is stand up-ish, or I mean, come correct about that. And USC does they supposed to do wins out, and it falls how you say it's gonna fall. Then I don't see no reason why not you wouldn't put them in, because at least you're gonna get some points scored. And then it's Lincoln Riley. He does have. I mean,
they show favoritism to Lincoln.
You know what I'm saying? He done did it with Oklahoma, so you can see him do it again with USC. You got some names.
They ain't gonna win, but
next year. Well, it is what it is. So we'll see what they do. I would think based off recent history, they'd do 2 SEC teams again.
Darius said USC for the national championship. I like it. SEC has less of an argument this year. I feel like that's a true statement. Oh yeah, Darius, I'm gonna give you the whole floor for this one. I ain't need to say, all right. I'm gonna say.
So, first, I'd like to congratulate Carnell Cadillac Williams on his first win as an interim head coach. I hope that Auburn offered him the job and he becomes the full-time head coach.
I like that.
Secondly, if y'all remember, about a month or so ago, Josh was telling me after A&M lost to Mississippi State, he said they were a mediocre team. I argued with Josh and said, you can't call them mediocre now. It's still early in the season. Josh said by the end of the season, Texas A&M would be a mediocre team. It's the end of the season. Texas A&M is a mediocre team. Right.
Now, base it off of youth. I give you the youth.
No, I wasn't even going to say that, right?
No, I'm going to help you out. Base it off of youth.
Even with the youth, I didn't think they would be whatever they are. 3
and 7.
3 and 7. I didn't
3
think
and
they
8.
would be.
One of them.
I didn't think they would win 3 games. I thought they'd at least be bowl eligible. I don't really know what to say about. I mean, you can say they're young, but even still, like 3 games.
Well, I heard a fun fact the other day when Auburn was playing A&M. They said A&M took the most. They had freshmen take the most snap at 4,500. Ole Miss was next at like 3,700. So what if you want to be honest, what is Jimbo Fisher doing now? Because now you can't make no excuses up for these young players.
Well,
not the young player, from him coaching.
I don't really like that because I think Ole Miss is mediocre, right? That's what I think.
I mean, but based off their record.
Yeah, that's true. But I say
they are some mid though.
I mean, my approach.
NIL deals.
No, my approach, like if you on the field, man, you gotta play, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those guys young, they just young. I'm not. Now that would have been more of an approach if they were maybe not a playoff team, right? Well, we talking about where they are in the top 10 range. Then I'm like, well, they young, fam, X, Y, and Z. But 3 games, like I did all that for you, and you won 3 games. So I think I'm on the side with everybody else where they kind of disappointed the A&M. Maybe they'll bounce back. Even with Kirby Smart's youngest team, I don't think they won just 3 games. I think they were at least bowl eligible. But even with Dabo, when Dabo took over, I think they won more than 3 games. So it's just a disappointment from the expectation side of it. I mean, they still can respond, but
it's just like expectation side, but it's just more disappointing from Jimbo Fisher side. Jimbo, you've been bragging about this you've been arguing with Nick Saban this offseason. You've been saying that your recruiting classes ain't been that bad the last 3 years at least. You at least been in the top 7. And then you came out with the number 1 recruiting class this year. It's just, what is he doing to develop the players around him? Now, I will give a big knock. Anaya Smith did miss the rest of the season. He more than likely will be back next season with a red shirt medical. But
A-Chain didn't play last game either.
A-Chain's probably going to be in the league. He a senior. It's just, me personally, I just think Jimbo Fisher, for them to be successful and win games, he has to give up the job of that offensive coordinator, bro. You just got to do it. You can't sit there and continue to run stuff from 2012 and think it's going to work in 2022.
Because I would say, I mean, you might got a point on that. I think A&M only downfall is their offense. Whether, I don't know if it's players or the play calling, but is the air, because I think their defense played well enough for them to win the game.
Versus everybody. I think they play one of them versus everybody.
But I think from a play calling standpoint, either he don't have the plays, the kind of style of offense he want to run, or the style of offense he runs just ain't working. Whichever it is, I think it's time for a change.
So which one you think it is? I think it's him. Because he's recruiting the players he wants. He getting the players this past year it was more of a defensive class, but he getting the players he want. He had Isaiah Spiller like 2 years ago. They was with H&, they was a duo. Is he leaning towards running the ball more to take the pressure off the quarterback? His line was pretty good that year too. Or is he leaning to like he needs this quarterback to carry him? And based off the quarterbacks he recruited, they can't carry him.
I think from this year, I don't really think they had an identity in the offense. I mean, they played 3 quarterbacks.
Yeah.
2 of their best players was a running back and a freshman wide receiver. Their third best players was a redshirt sophomore wide receiver. So I think, like, from an identity standpoint, they don't really have one. And if you were to have one, it's probably A-Chain. And
he's a fucking man, boy.
In the SEC, I don't really think that's. I mean, as we all know, I don't think that's sufficient. Right? In the SEC, you got to be able to throw the ball to win the game. Mm-hmm. But I think but I agree with you. I definitely think it's time for a change. I think he needs to hand it over. I know he hands it over too. I mean, he went out and got DJ Durkin. Maybe he go out and get the quarterback coach for USC or something. I don't know. He needs to do something.
Somebody.
But yes, I will admit that I'm highly disappointed. I mean, I wasn't on times with Galloway where he put them in the championship game, but I did see them in the top 10 finishing the season.
At least, even not a top 10. They was fucking wild for that shit, bro. But even if it's not a top 10 finish for A&M, at least a top 18.
He's going to be ranked by the end of the year somewhere, doing something.
Well,
But it was
Louis said they overcommitted to recruiting.
Who?
Louis. I mean, in terms of, they commits about they're gonna have some big transfers out of there. A lot of sources are saying that most of them players are about to transfer out.
I mean, we're gonna see.
We will see. Oh yeah. Also, chat. Darius has lost his job at Texas already.
I don't think so. He did. Hey, man.
What? No.
Hey, bro. I don't know what he had going on, fam.
So if he had I don't know what was going on.
He had to be off a perk. Good perk.
Nah, he lost his job on Saturday. I know Steve saw. He was like, "Yep, Arch out there." I already know he said Arch is out there.
Bring him in, boy. Hey, it happens. Like, you feel me? Sometimes the revolution of youth is just what you need, man. You know what I mean? It didn't work out for Texas A&M this year, but it might work out for y'all.
No, Texas A&M. To be honest, the youth wasn't the big issue. It's just Bro, every year Jimbo talk about this quarterback he got, I ain't seen in the last 5 years. So like, I mean, at this point,
And I don't know, the Wigman dude might be nice, but if you go in with Haynes King and Max Johnson again, it's gonna be a repeat of this year.
Be bad.
I mean, Max was actually alright.
Haynes King's throwing motion literally hurts me to watch, bro.
It hurt him to throw.
It's like
he's literally he throws a football like you throw a baseball.
Yeah, bad. Like go play for them. They you can compete. You know what I mean?
We're gonna end it off like this: the LSU Tigers.
Jaden Daniels.
LSU got a prime opportunity, but I will say, LSU cannot play like they played against them and think they're gonna beat Georgia.
Well, thank God they ain't no 11 o'clock game, because every 11 o'clock game I watched them play was terrible this year.
They played. If KJ Jefferson's in that game probably was different. But luckily, Malik Hornsby is not a quarterback. He's an athlete.
He's an athlete. Hell of an athlete.
But at the same time, let's not say like Jaden Daniels wasn't out there trolling. Fam turned the ball over twice in the first quarter. Once they driving to at least try to get points, and the other one in their own red zone.
I told you he got shocked by the cold, fam. He ain't never been cold like that in his life.
Zero said a better program than A&M, huh? Darius?
I don't know where he gets. I guess he thinks I'm an A&M fan. Zero, I'm not an A&M.
He like Texas.
I just think
you just rode a little too hard this year. That's all it was. It's crazy. You know that conversation started. I thought about it. That conversation started about talking about a recruit. Where would he go? And all of a sudden it turned to LSU.
Yeah, it did. It did.
I came off as I'm not an A&M fan, so that's really
you came on strong.
Nah. That's what you said on tape.
It was really because you defended Jimbo.
Yeah, it was because you defended Jimbo.
My perspective of Jimbo doesn't change.
Yeah, well, just know he ain't coaching in the last 8 years. He ain't been coaching. So
he had to get it together.
And the eye and the sky don't lie. Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of transfers out of A&M. I read a lot of paperwork about A&M football. They said a lot of them freshmen is about to get up out of there.
Man, none of that. But here's a lot of that is just like what we'll think. Right? So a lot of that they lose, then like them cats gonna start leaving. I don't think nobody just openly saying they're gonna leave and haven't left yet. Now that one recruit did decommit, but I think he was considering A&M or Texas anyway.
I think you talking about that linebacker?
The linebacker.
Anthony Hill.
I think so.
Yeah, I think he might commit to Texas. Texas or LSU. Yeah. The two things on his board. That Perkins boy for LSU is something different too. He's
a monster.
I'm like, man, who is this?
Cuz everywhere on the field.
I don't know what he got going on.
He's fast. Like, that might be Mark Parsons 2.0.
Hey, don't forget, y'all. Tune in. The game of the year come on this Saturday. I don't know if y'all forgot. The Hurricanes is at 500.
All right, Chad. I'm gonna let y'all go. I appreciate y'all rocking with us today. He talking about Miami.
It's the JB era. It's Curry Brown. I seen.
Who y'all play this week?
We play Clemson. I seen a bright
loss.
Light.
Look at Clemson too.
Nah, they in Miami.
We at Clemson. We at Clemson.
Oh yeah, it's over. So look, Chad.
Hey bro. Let me get on my heel, fam. All I'm saying is, I'm saying like this. That game can be exactly what we think it's gonna be. Absolutely, you're right. But I did see a piece of light last week, and so hopefully,
you said that like 3 weeks ago, and then they got drugged by Florida State or something like that.
Every time Miami plays the game of the year, baby, let's get it.
hey, Darius, before we go, what's your picks? Give me your picks this week.
You got some money on it?
All right, I'm gonna give y'all 3 quick ones, right? I'm gonna give y'all Illinois plus 18 versus Michigan. Michigan probably the better team, but Illinois is not no slaps to get burnt out by 18 points. It's going to be a very slow game as both teams like to run the ball, who I think got 2 of the top 3 running backs in college, and Chase Brown and Blake Corum. So I think I would favor Illinois at plus 18 to cover the spread. And I don't know, you might have an upset on the horizon. You never know. Also, I like Kansas +9 versus Texas, as we seen.
Yeah.
Even prior to though, if you consider the prior to, Texas doesn't do well in big leagues. Texas doesn't do well with double-digit leagues. They found a way to mess it up in the fourth quarter in every game, no matter who they playing against, whether they're playing right. Kansas has been playing experiment football, even with the backup quarterback. They often seem like they not skipped the beat, and I think Kansas head coach needs to be considered as coach of the year.
Shoot.
I heard rumors he going to Nebraska, but
listen.
So
Nebraska, I heard rumors.
He going to Nebraska?
I heard rumors.
Probably, but I think he should be his coach of the year. We ain't seen Kansas win 6 games, going to a bowl game since 2008. 8?
Akeem to leave.
Akeem, yeah, his last year.
So, for them to even be sitting at 6-4 right now, I think is real promising for them. But +9 versus them. And my final one is gonna be a easy one, I think, right? So you think about these two teams, you think about a lot of points being scored. I think about a lot of points being scored when I say these two teams. Both of these two teams are averaging 30 points a game. The over-under is sitting at 77.5. I would take the over. USC versus UCLA. I think it's going to be a shootout out there on the West Coast.
DTR.
We're going to see what happens. I don't know who the winner's going to be, but I see a lot of points being scored. Any game, you got Lincoln Riley as your head coach.
Man, what's up with dude at the bottom, fam?
All I said was one point.
Hey, look. Chad said, can we get a recap of last week's picks?
Who's that, Eric?
Nah.
Hey. I was waiting for somebody to ask the question.
Hey, man. Hey, bro, Tennessee. That was terrible.
They might be better than what you think.
I don't know, bro. I just don't see it.
Denver's just terrible, fam.
Terrible. Who actually?
Louis. Jason.
Jason Lewis.
Bro, all right. So, yeah, Tennessee beat Denver, bro. I don't even know how they beat them, but I don't know what Denver going to do for Alpha. Bro, they are allowing. I read something. If they were to score 18 points a game, bro,
they win every game.
They'd be 8-1. Isn't it right? Like, you got to score 18 points a game.
Who, Denver?
If Denver would score 18 points a game, bro, they giving up 13 points a game. And they sitting at 3 games, right? 3 games?
3.
That is nasty work.
Hey, Chad said they don't want to keep hearing your uncredited picks.
First of all, I've been very successful in my picks, casino-wise. So if you don't want to listen to them, you can always log off.
He's sick.
Hey, who you want for Debo though? Before we end.
Nah, I'm straight. I'm cool.
Yeah, I know you be asking for that outrageous shit.
You're gonna ignore me, bro, and I'm straight.
I didn't annoy you.
You in that message, you ain't saying nothing.
Cause I already tried to trade with you.
Nah, I'm cool. I take my business on real.
All right, that's why you 4-6. All right, Chad, I appreciate you. Huh?
Think about it too.
I appreciate y'all rocking with us. Hey, bruh, horrible GM. Hey, we'll see. Well, y'all won't see us. Y'all possibly will see us next week. I ain't gonna say y'all won't see us. We might do a double special. Might do some Sunday night or something like that. We don't know yet. But next week, it's Thanksgiving. Make sure y'all eat well enough on Thursday. We're gonna post a video for this one on YouTube. Final Possession. Other than that, Twitch, Final Possession, Twitter, Final Possession. Other than that, we are out from my hostess.
Hey man, who that? Canes Nation, stand up.
Yeah, Canes lost by 100 this week. All right, y'all. We appreciate y'all rocking. Peace.